The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Very good morning to you all, and thank you for attending the StorageCraft partner broadcast here, broadcasting from our office in Cork City in Ireland on the 15th of November 2017. And let us start off straight away by talking about our biggest cloud promotion ever. So this was initially a promotion, I'm sure most of you will know about it, that ran until the end of September. And now by popular demand, it has been extended until the end of this year. So this, as the PowerPoint presentation shows us, is our biggest cloud promotion ever. So you pay for every machine that's signed up, you pay for 1 terabyte of cloud storage. Plus, then you permanently get an additional terabyte of cloud storage for that machine permanently. Not just until the end of the year, as some people thought, but indeed permanently, forever. So I think that's a pretty sweet deal. And if you want to talk a little bit more to your account managers about it, please do contact us. We'll be more than happy to go in a little bit deeper on how this all works. So today we're going to talk about everything you want to know about StorageCraft Cloud, but we're afraid to ask. So basically, why do people use our cloud? Well, initially, it's to make sure that your offsite data backup is safe and always available inside our distributed, scalable, fault-tolerant cloud built specifically for disaster recovery. So although there are other solutions out there, and indeed there's blob storage for very inexpensive blob storage up there that you can replicate to, however, this is not disaster recovery in the cloud. We're going to see in a while how you spin up a machine in the cloud and how you do a failover in the cloud, okay? You're going to face some challenges if you're using that blob storage in the cloud, because basically what will happen is you'll end up in a situation whereby, although you can get the data up there, suddenly when you try to retrieve it in a disaster recovery situation, you find out that there's a cost for the bandwidth, there's a cost for setting up the actual VPN connection, there's a cost even for the type of data and quantity of data that you want to get down at one time. So there are challenges when you go to do disaster recovery in the cloud. So security and availability would be the first main reason that our partners and our end users actually use our cloud solution for disaster recovery. The other is advanced network recovery options that you get with our product. So you can hit the ground running literally after a disaster with advanced networking features which are available with Cloud Premium that enable you to run your network in our cloud just as you'd run it on site. And it's, again, one of the big differentiators between our solution and other solutions that are out there is that, when you spin up that machine in the cloud, there doesn't actually have to be a problem on the customer site. You can have all of this pre-planned. You can have all of your network configuration, your VPN connection, whether you're using IPsec configuration, making it a router-to-router deal, or whether you're using OpenVPN from each actual individual machine. All of this can be tested prior to an outage on your customer site. That's what makes this so compelling. The next point is a policy-based failover. Now, we've introduced this into our cloud backup, and it's basically you can use a virtual machine policy, which is available with Cloud Premium again, to configure and test the machine boot order, the timing and the dependencies, and be able to press just one button, if you like, to start the site-wide failover process. So literally, with the click of a button, you can actually bring up all of your machines within the virtual machine policy. So whereby Before, you were manually bringing up each individual machine. Now, again, prior to any event occurring on your customer site, you can go in and test your virtual machine policy in a test scenario. And you can see how your Active Directory comes up first, then your SQL environment, then your file servers, etc. And you can actually bring up these machines in exactly the correct order that you wish them to appear in the event of an actual outage. Oops, I skipped one there. So service levels and retention tiers. So you can customize your cloud storage to fit your organization's business continuity needs and budget, whether your IT environment is small and straightforward or whether it's actually larger and a bit more complex. And those retention tiers can go from, 3 recovery points a day, 4 or 5 recovery points a day. And we offer a flexible option as well, which no matter what kind of compliance regulation your end user is working under, we will have a service level and a retention level tier that will suit them. Control and flexibility. You can centrally manage and monitor all of your StorageCraft Cloud Services accounts, as well as the failover in a disaster, without intervention from StorageCraft. So basically, you're autonomous. One of the reasons a lot of our MSPs like our MSP program is because they go in and they go and create keys there. They actually go and are completely autonomous. If somebody doesn't pay them, they can actually cease the backup centrally themselves, all without contacting us. And when we move into our cloud services, exactly is the same. You can actually go and you can purchase, if you like, and bring on machines into the cloud, and you can centrally manage and monitor all of those without having to have recourse back to us. So control and flexibility is really a centerpiece of our MSP program, and indeed it's also a centerpiece of our cloud services as well. So what kind of scenarios would be where we would be actually using our cloud services? Well, storing important data offsite so it's available via a shipped BMR drive or directly downloadable image file, regardless of what happens to the business. That would be our cloud basic. We'll be going through the different services in a moment. Accessing files and folders fast from anywhere. You have an internet connection when a hurricane or other disaster shuts down offices. This requires Cloud Plus. And then virtualizing a failed server or network instantly after a server room flood or a building fire. This requires Cloud Premium. And then restoring systems and data to replacement hardware on site, either by downloading the appropriate image file or using a BMR drive shipped from the StorageCraft data center. And then having an off-site backup copy that can be easily used in a disaster and that requires low setup, management, and overhead costs. And then finally, having the option of choosing a different level of cloud protection for each machine in order to stay within the budget and business continuity constraints. So really, this is what it looks like. You have your IT admins, you have your employees, your business servers, which could include SQL Exchange, a DC, FTP server, etc. Your VMware environment, your Hyper-V environment, all of this feeding into local on-site storage. That's the first place that it'll arrive into. Remember, we will always back up locally first and then replicate to cloud services. And then we replicate off to StorageCraft Cloud Services, either as BMR drives, file and folder recovery, or indeed virtual failover. We can replicate to third-party cloud as well, into Amazon Web Services, Azure, Rackspace, or indeed to our MSP offsite. So StorageCraft Cloud Services, as I mentioned, it's integrated into the partner portal. That's the partner portal address. Again, if you need assistance with any of this and you don't have access to a partner portal, please contact your account manager. I realize there's people from different regions on this call, so whoever your local account manager is, please contact them, or you will receive a mail automatically at the back of this of attending this webinar. You can just respond, if you like, to that email, and we'll make sure someone will reach out to you and get you access to the portal. Okay. Shadow Protect SPX backup images are replicated to the StorageCraft cloud using Image Manager. So all our on-site replication is handled by Image Manager. You set up your cloud account in the cloud, then you go to Image Manager and you set up the replication job. We'll be looking at that. There are multiple service levels, basic, cloud, and premium, and multiple retention tiers. And there's your cloud services. So the different subscription levels are Cloud Basic, which is archiving of critical business backups. Cloud Plus, which is everything in Cloud Basic, plus immediate file and folder recovery, and Cloud Premium, which is everything in the Cloud Plus, and instant virtualization of systems and failover to the cloud. That, to me, is the one I would definitely be considering, which would be the premium subscription level, simply because it gives me that unique feature of being able to spin up machines in the cloud in the event of an outage. So StorageCraft Cloud Services retention tiers. Retention is used to limit data stored in the cloud. You do not want to have uncontrolled and multiplying data in the cloud. Just as we apply retention policies and consolidation policies through Image Manager to the on-premise solution, we also need to do something similar in the offsite with our cloud services. There are 4 tiers available, each providing more recovery points. So you have retention tier 1, which gives us 3 daily recovery points. You have retention tier 2, which gives us 5 daily recovery points and 2 weekly recovery points. You have retention tier 3 with 7 daily recovery points, 4 weekly and 3 monthly. And then your retention flex option, which can be completely customized to meet your needs or compliance requirements in the cloud for your end user. So again, your recovery point looks very much like it would do if you were applying, as I said, consolidation and retention policies to the on-premise here. So you have your SPIs joining the virtual disk, and then depending on which retention tier, X amount of recovery points and or snapshots of restored data will be available to actually go and use in the event of an outage. So what are the cloud services requirements? What's actually required to run this? Well, what's actually required is a partner portal account. That's your first port of call, okay? The second is an encrypted backup images must be used. So that cannot be done retrospectively. If you have a job that isn't AES 256-bit with an encrypted password, you're going to have to archive that if it's going into our cloud, and then start again and make sure that the SPX job that you've set up is AES 256-bit encrypted, okay? Image Manager version 7.0.6 or newer, Shadow Protect version 5.2.7 or Shadow Protect SPX 6.2.0 or newer. StorageCraft Cloud Location and Cloud Replication Target created via Image Manager. Continuous incremental backup job schedule. So if you're using full or a mix of fulls and incrementals, that's no good. You have to be using continuous incrementals into our cloud for it to actually work. So what's recommended? Start a new backup chain before replicating. Only replicate consolidated daily files to the StorageCraft cloud. Fees are applied for replicating intra-daily image files. So when you go creating a cloud services account, your MSP cloud services accounts are created in the partner portal. Add one account for every customer, and then customer access partners.storagecraft.com. And all other accounts are created from cloud.storagecraft.com. Cloud account credentials are used for replication target in Image Manager. So creating a replication target, again, this is done within our Image Manager. You create a cloud replication target. The replication type should be your StorageCraft Cloud Services. The location type should be the StorageCraft Cloud Services as well. Transport, you can use SSL or SSH and use your cloud account credentials. So you're going to your cloud account, creating your cloud account first, then coming back into Image Manager and performing all of this. Your replication mode should be consolidated or unconsolidated. Really, it should be consolidated if you're replicating to the cloud. Select your service level and then select your retention. Managing your cloud images, each device is managed separately. You can modify your retention settings, and they can change service levels within 7 days per device. So if you make a bit of a mistake, you put them on Cloud Basic, and he should be on Cloud Premium, well then you can go back in and you can actually go and amend that within 7 days of setting it up. If you forget and it goes beyond those 7 days, you'll have to catch it at the next billing cycle, okay? So requesting a seed drive. This is just a little tick box again within Image Manager. And you can see it here. It says send initial backup images on a seed drive. If you untick that, it means then that you're going to send it over the WAN. Okay. So if you don't have the kind of bandwidth to do this, well, then you can request a seed drive. So seeding to cloud services, you can create a replication target without the seed drive. So it's a bit like on-premises as well. You can start your replication of your images from your customer site to your DR site without actually having the seeded drive over in the DR site. It just means that until such time as the seed drives actually arrives, you cannot do a restore or a mount or anything on the DR side of things. So you just need to get that seeded drive over there. So files from that point are replicated to the cloud. They wait in a temporary folder until the seeded, and then when the seed drive arrives, you can edit the replication target. So select your cloud settings, select the drive letter assigned to the seed drive, select save, and then the drive seeded to that point when the target was created. So let's have a little look at our actual environment. And if any of you have any questions, especially those that are new to our cloud services, do feel free to ask questions in the little chat area below and or in the question area below, and I'll be able to reply to you, hopefully. What we're going to do, we were going to look at our cloud services, and this is what our cloud services looks like. And you can see it's all very easy to view. For our partners, we have a lot of collateral and a lot of our marketing resources actually available to our partners up here as well. That would include our different guides and logos, case studies, cloud backup collateral, competitor materials, ebooks, etc. So we have a lot of stuff in there as well. For our partners, you have your partners network benefits, pricing, all of that in here. The key management is key, in fact, and it's where you can go add keys for SPX for Linux, Image Manager or GRE here, and then assign them to each of your customers, again, without contacting us. Again, it's very forgiving. If you go and create 20 odd licenses accidentally, you're not charged for those. You have to apply those to 20 physical or virtual machines and have them running for more than 14 days before, in fact, you'll be charged for anything. So that's good to note. Down here we have all of our reports as well, so you can kind of go and run a report on what's active. So if you have 20 machines up there in the cloud, and you have another colleague that works with you has maybe added a couple more, and you're not quite sure, you can run a report at any given time at a start or end date. Excuse me, and run a report on those machines or that you're now currently managing through SPX. And this is your cloud services. So I've clicked in here. If you want to create a cloud account, it's easily done. You just use the account name, the username, and the password. Confirm the password. You can create account permissions as well, and also set up your service level for each of the machines that are going under that account, and set all that up. Okay. As I was saying earlier on, one of the really cool things that I suppose separates us from the other solutions that are out there is our networking. So if I drill into networking here, you'll see that I have an assigned subnet. I can change that if I wish. I have under here then, under my VPN configuration, I can set up my IPsec, my OpenVPN, my firewall WAN IP, set all of that up. And then I have my addresses, and I can go move to DHCP reservation here, for instance, and DHCP reservation, and then we can go and add port mapping. So I can port map back to a public IP address as well. So all of this can be set up, as I said, and tested on the environment. Okay. And given that that's the case, you can test all of this very, very easily, literally by setting up a machine. If you're using, for instance, your Open VPN, you can go in and you can add your users and set up your username and your configuration file, and set all of that up as well, and test it from each machine. But the key to all of this, in fact, is indeed that it is indeed testing the environment, making sure that this actually works, that if you're offering it to a customer, well, then it's going to be a situation whereby it's all tested. As soon as anything happens, then it may be just to a couple of machines, a few servers, or maybe the whole site is out. Well, at least all of this has been tested either to another physical location or to alternate locations. So it may be that if it's a small enough company, people will nominate in the event of a full outage to go and work from home. Well, that's fine in theory, but you need to make sure that if they're going to their individual homes to work, that it's actually going to work. So you can spin up a machine in the cloud services area, and you can make sure that it's all tested, that the VPN is set up at the customer site, and that it's actually testing the environment, making sure that this all actually works. Okay, so that being the case, let's have a look at this is where you would actually go and request a seed form, just as we've been through there. This is where you set up your retention settings. Now, retention settings can be set up per machine if you wish to have separate retention settings per machine, or it can be set up at the actual cloud account level. So if you want to have a kind of a basic default level at the cloud account regarding retention, but you want to override that for one or two machines, the local retention will override the group or account retention policy that you assign. Okay, so here we are also here looking at account alerts. So you can add an alert here, and that could be different types of alert. It could be an old unprocessed file, large growth, a large machine added, machine deleted, etc., etc. So all of this can be set up pretty much to be done again, to be alerted in the event of anything like this happening. If somebody deletes a machine, in fairness, I'm going to have an immediate alert when that actually happens. So Alerts can be set up quite easily here. And let's have a look at launching a machine. So you can launch a machine pretty easy. Here we have the machine name. We have a specific GUID. Okay, now that will identify in our system between one machine. You may have several machines up there with similar names. It will be the GUID from the actual backup job that will recognize that machine. You have the creation date, the latest recovery point, the boot volume that you want to boot in the event of launching it. Excuse me, the upload status, last image received, date received, etc. If you go to launch a machine then as well, you can launch a machine. You just add the password. And then if it's a failover, if it's a test, we've added this here to nominate how many days do you want to auto destroy, because we had a lot of people testing machines and then just genuinely forgetting to delete them at the end of the test. So you can do this at the very outset. So you can say, look, I just want to have this destroyed. However, if it's an actual failover, you can tick this box. Now, this box nominates that it's an actual failover. And what will happen is, in the event of it being an actual failover, we'll actually go while it's virtualized and snapshot it every hour. And then the idea being, when you're doing that bare metal restore on site, for instance, for that machine, part of the process is you can point towards your cloud account now and go and, if you like, add all of those subsequent incremental images that were captured while it was virtualized in the cloud. You remember that data is changing all the time. We're capturing that change data and we're adding it then to the bare metal restore on your site or the customer site when you're doing a fail back through bare metal restore. So again, it's fairly straightforward. I've kicked it off here now while we're chatting, and now we can just go and view it. So we're just going into the machine. Now, again, this is just my local machine here that's going up into the cloud. It's called LW10. And if I go into my image manager here, you'll see that in my image manager, it is, if I just go to it there, onto my desktop, STC, all I've done is just backed up locally and then replicated this as a replication job up into the cloud. There you go, EU2, and that's where I'm gone up to into my cloud account. So it's just simply a machine that's backing up locally and then replicating into the cloud. And then I just need to add a password here. And then hopefully, if I remember my password, and that's the other thing, please do remember that somebody's going to have to remember the actual password on the image, which is fair enough. But somebody also has to know the password to log into the actual machine as well. So I merely make that point. But, the difference between, doing actual disaster recovery in the cloud, okay, actual disaster recovery in the cloud, as opposed to, if you like, just blob storage where I'm just storing data in the cloud. Well, then that's the difference. The difference is I'm now spun up a machine. I can now access this machine over a VPN connection from where I'm sitting. So that's actually the only difference, right? It's a huge difference in my mind. I mean, there are other solutions out there that will get me up there, I think, a bit cheaper, okay? But really, where our product comes into its own value is when you have to do a restore, or you have to test on an ongoing basis how this is all going to fit together as a proper disaster recovery in the cloud solution for my customers. So really, when it comes to choosing my retention tier, choosing my different service, the service I would choose is the premium solution. Okay, it's the third service, the premium service, simply because I think this gives me the ability to spin up the machine, gives me a unique, if you like, feature that I can offer my customers at the end of the day in the event of a full outage or ransomware attack, etc. So it's going through all of these. It's going through all of my little applications that I have starting off in the morning. But anyway, having said that, this to me is the real strength of the product. And it's only when you have an outage on a customer site that you actually spin a machine up in the cloud, create a VPN to it, and that you're up and running in a matter of minutes, that you see the strength of this product, okay? And just what it can do in the event of a full outage for an end user. Those of you out there with an MSP account, you can actually have a machine up there, throw it up there, make sure it's up there for less than 14 days, and that will basically allow you to POC this, if you like, even on your own environment. That you throw up a couple of machines and just see, make sure that what I'm saying here is accurate. I'm sure you'll find it is. But certainly, this is the strength of the product, to be able to go in, to bring it up, set up that VPN connection. And remember, that VPN connection can be tested prior to any event on the customer site. All of this can be tested. You can find out what are the gotchas long before that site goes out. Two things about testing. Testing gives you the ability, obviously, to ensure that the solution is working, number one. But number two, and can be just as important in an outage, familiarizing yourself with how the product actually works and how you're going to actually recover an environment in the event of an outage. So it's testing that this is all working, but also getting you familiar with the process of how you actually bring this up. I obviously would recommend that you document everything as you go, and that could be documented for each individual customer if you wanted to, or just have a general kind of rule of thumb. These are the general steps that you take in the events of an outage. Either way, I would very much encourage you all to go and test this environment and test it strongly. There is no, if you like, other substitute for ensuring that this all fits together and fits well with your customer's environment. So I'm looking up here to see if there's any questions for me. Just to kind of give you some of the questions that I do get, can a partner increase the system resources while virtualizing a machine in the StorageCraft cloud? You must increase the resources before you create the virtual machine, okay? If you need to increase default system resources to a maximum of 12 processors and 128 gigs of RAM, or if you need additional virtual machine resources for an emergency failover, assigning more resources requires specific use cases and must be approved by the StorageCraft support. So you're going through, if you like, the support team. But basically, what we have is the ability to, if you like, go and produce, if you like, all the resources that are required in the event of an outage. So when you have your machine, if you like, and you've spun it up and you're not happy with the speed of it, we can apply more resources via our support team to ensure that that machine is running. Okay. Okay, so my question here is there an NF4 license for the MSP cloud services? I've just kind of gone over that. If you're an MSP, as long as you don't leave the machine up there for more than 14 days, that's the kind of, if you like, trial that you can use with the product. There's no machines that you can put up there for free, but as I said, we have an offer where if you put up a machine by the end of this year, for 1 terabyte, that machine will expand to 2 terabytes without any additional charge forever. Okay, so that's from Jose. Thank you, Jose. So, as I was saying, okay, so this is another one. So I'm just reading these out. Can I have a new instance of Image Manager continue replicating to an existing machine in the cloud? I have Image Manager replicating to StorageCraft Cloud. How can I set up a new instance of Image Manager and migrate my managed folders and backup images? Okay, so there are migration steps that you need to take. You need to install Image Manager on the new machine. You need to manage a folder which contains the exact same backup image files that the old machine was sending. And with the help from our support team, you need to edit the registry on the new machine so that the managed folder ID is the exact same as the managed folder ID on the old machine. Save the registry changes, restart the Image Manager service, and then create a cloud location that uses the exact same credentials that were used previously. And then you create a replication target using the new location. Okay. Do I have to use a seed drive to seed my cloud storage, or can I just replicate my full backup image across the network? Okay, so we kind of covered that as well. So the question of seeding versus replicating is really a question of image size versus your network bandwidth. So it's possible to replicate a full image to the cloud if it doesn't compromise the performance of your network. So just think about that, really. Okay. Can I request a seed drive larger than 2 terabytes? Yes, you can. There is a go to the user guide, and that will pretty much go through that for you as well. Okay, so there we go. So listen, thank you all very much for your questions. Thank you for participating, for attending. You will have an email on the back of this webinar. Please feel free to ask any questions that you wish back on that email if you wish. They'll come back, eventually they'll come back to me at some point. I think, is there any more messages on my PowerPoint? I had this, I think. So why are our top MSPs moving from their own data centers to the StorageCraft cloud? And we have our good partners, Kogo. If you go to our site, you'll see pretty much exactly why they have decided to go. And we did our Q&A. So listen, guys, thank you very much for attending. If you need any information, either commercial or technical, please come back to us on the back of the email that you'll be sent for attending this webinar. And we're only too happy to respond to you. Again, thank you very much for your time, and I'll talk to you again. Bye for now. Bye-bye.